In Dallas, Texas, there is a doctor with a high salary. In the 38 surgeries he performed. It resulted in the death of 2 people, the tragedy of 32 people becoming disabled. And what he did was just a routine, ordinary surgery. The mistakes he made in these surgeries were so few, the level has reached a point where even the hospital leadership feels all of this is fake. However, it is a doctor who keeps making mistakes. He is an outstanding talent in the eyes of everyone. He has an outstanding academic background, also received numerous honors. More importantly, after his wrongdoing was exposed, the prosecutor actually doesn't know how to prosecute him. This is what happened in 2011. Christopher Dunn, known as the killer of a lifetime, strange case. Hello everyone, I am CO. Welcome to the MIN site. December, 201,154-year-old Kelly Martin and her husband Tang. There are also 2 daughters together, decorating for Christmas at home. Kelly is a teacher. My husband is a police officer. The couple's relationship is very good. Just as Kelly climbed up to the attic to get a cardboard box, when preparing to move down the ladder, he suddenly stepped into thin air and fell to the floor. A sharp pain suddenly came from the back. At first, he thought it was just a common muscle strain. You can rest at home for a few days and then go back to class normally. I didn't expect my back to hurt more and more. In desperation, he had no choice but to go to the hospital. After diagnosis, the doctor found this sleep. The mistake led to Kelly's herniated disc in her back. Physical therapy, all the painkillers and muscle relaxants were used, but there is no improvement. The attending physician ultimately pushed him, recommended a person who is in charge of a well-known neurosurgeon in a small place, Christopher Dunn. The Kelly couple soon arranged to meet this highly respected colleague, the revered Dr. Deng Chi. After Dr. Deng Chi examined Kelly's injuries, immediately stated that this is a minor issue, just a routine minor surgery. Can be completely cured. The entire surgical process will not exceed 45 minutes. No risk, it will not cause any sequelae. Kelly's surgery was scheduled for March 2012. On that day, Kelly was pushed into the operating room, and her husband Tang Ziyi is waiting outside the door. Dr. Deng Chi mentioned a time of 45 minutes. It passed by quickly. The operating room door did not open. The sugar is very anxious, but he can only wait patiently until the surgery had been underway for an hour and a half. This is already twice the time of 45 minutes. At this moment, Tang could no longer sit still. He called a nurse to let him go in and see the situation, but the nurse never came out again. After going in, another 20 minutes passed. The operating room door finally opened. Dr. Deng Chi is the one who came out. He said the surgery went very well. Kelly can already walk, but he felt a bit of pain. The doctor gave him some medication. It needs to be sent to the intensive care unit for observation now, but others are fine. Everything is fine at the moment. But Dr. Deng Chi then said to Tang, because Kelly is currently still undergoing treatment, so he cannot visit his wife now. Tang felt a chill run down his back the moment he heard those words. He faintly feels that something big has happened deep down in his heart. He immediately called his daughter, let them hurry to the hospital. Tang and the 2 daughters are feeling anxious after waiting painfully for 2 hours. Dr. Deng Chi and the anesthetist walked towards them. From the expressions on their faces, Tang Yu felt that misfortune had already befallen him. The anesthetist told him in a low voice, they have done their utmost, but Kelly still passed away. Tang later recalled that when he heard the news, suddenly became emotionally uncontrollable. As a police officer, he has faced multiple death cases over the years, but I have never lost my composure like this before. He held back his impulse. There is no need to punch someone. Routine surgery for hernias. How did it evolve into this situation? Dr. Deng Chi said nothing at the time. Didn't even look at the 3 of them. The doctors in the intensive care unit told them afterwards this is a medical accident. When the surgery was halfway through, Kylie's blood pressure suddenly dropped. Then he fainted. When he regained consciousness again, the face turned pale. The legs have become stiff, there are strange spots on the body. Because Kelly was trembling all over, the nurse had no choice but to give him an injection of real economy, but unfortunately Kelly never woke up again. The legal hospital confirmed afterwards Kelly's artery was cut during the surgery, causing internal bleeding and death. Tang Jen's daughters all vaguely feel this is not the ultimate truth. They have a very poor impression of Dr. Ding Chi. They want a complete answer. However, what happened to Kelly it's just the beginning. Surgeon Christopher Dunch, born in 1971 in a wealthy family in Montana. He was a professional rugby player when he was young. Later, due to poor performance and frequent transfers, deprived of the qualification to participate in professional competitions. After his own football dreams were shattered, he made a huge change that is difficult for others to understand. In 1995, Deng Chi entered the University of Memphis to study medicine. He has studied here from undergraduate to doctoral level. This reading has lasted a full 15 years. In 2010, Deng Chi at the University of Tennessee Medical Center completed a 6-year surgical residency resident physician internship. This includes 5 years of neurosurgery, 1 year of general surgery, 1 year of specialized internship in spinal surgery. During the internship, Deng Chi was recognized for outstanding performance, appointed as the project manager of the school organization database, and provide technical supervision for the 2 laboratories. He also talked with 2 Russian scientists. The family participates in the application project together, and from the local government and the federal government has obtained more than a fund of $3 million supports. He even has a certain achievement from intervertebral disc tissue common patent for stem cell extraction, and founded 2 companies by himself. In the eyes of mentors and colleagues, he is a good speaker. A person with exceptional wit. In his 12-page job application resume self-evaluation is very high. It lists quite a number of medical achievements. However, those who read resumes all believe that he will be a very successful doctor in the future. University of Tennessee at graduation director of neurosurgery at the Medical Center Dr. Federico personally write a recommendation letter for Deng Chi. He said Deng Chi is extremely intelligent. He is also the most hardworking person he has ever seen. Deng Chi's mentor evaluated his professional ethics, personality, and the ability to get along with others. It is all beyond reproach. Of course, there are people who do not think so. In private, according to unverified rumors, he is suspected of academic credential fraud. Since entering university, he has a habit of drinking excessively and abusing drugs. At the University of Tennessee Medical Center during the neurosurgery internship, his habits of drinking and taking drugs have become increasingly severe. According to his ex-girlfriend, he often drinks all night. After taking the medicine the next morning, I got dressed and went to work. A few nurses from the hospital also reported he will take medicine before the surgery. According to Deng Chi himself, his condition becomes unusually good after taking medicine. The chances of a successful operation will greatly increase. The hospital management has also heard about it. They clearly do not allow such things to exist. Therefore, Deng Chi was requested to undergo multiple drug tests, but during testing I don't know what tricks Deng Chi played. Every time he manages to get through smoothly. In the end, his file was completely clean, all other best reviews. Seeing resumes and profiles like this, which hospital wouldn't be eager to take it? Moreover, there are also highly rated recommendations. Ultimately, at the recommendation of the headhunter, in 2010, Deng Chi Baylor Medical Center in Texas, the Plano branch is valued, offered him a base salary of $600,000 per year. An additional 40% surgical commission. In the United States, a surgeon, the average annual income can reach $2.5 million. If there are surgical qualifications provided by other hospitals, then the income will be even higher. It can be seen that Deng Chi's attempts will face a bright future. July 1, 2011. Deng Chi successfully started his job, Baylor Scott White Medical Center, Plano. The hospital advanced him a salary of $200,000. At the same time, a moving fee of $15,000 was also provided. The hospital also hired a marketing team specifically for this newly graduated newcomer. Conduct packaging promotion bring him more patients. During this time, Deng Chi met another surgeon, Randall Kobe. This person will be involved in a series of events that will happen in the future to play a key role. Kobe said after his first conversation with Doncic, just feel that this person is a very talented surgeon. And not long after, his viewpoint has completely reversed. Deng Chi's first surgery performed in the hospital let Dr. Kobe gain a new perspective. After completing the surgery, Deng Chi did not hand over work to other colleagues, leave the patient behind, fly directly to Las Vegas for the weekend. Until Monday, the hospital and the patient just got in touch with him. December 2011. A man named Ken was hurt accepting Deng Chi's surgery. Deng Chi mistakenly opened the knife in the wrong position, causing surgical failure. After the second corrective surgery, Ken's back still hurts. His legs hurt like they are on fire. Finally, Ken had to leave the hospital in a wheelchair. There is also a patient named Lee Palmer. He had undergone back surgery once before. Later, the injury reoccurred due to the rescue. This time, the second surgery was performed by Deng Chi. During the surgery, Deng Chi made another mistake with the knife position. It also erroneously removed part of his nerve roots. Then it should be the screws fixed in the vertebrae were driven into the spinal canal. Another screw pierced the nerve. Fortunately, at that time, the entire operating room, all personnel, including nurses, witnessed the situation. They tried their best to stop Deng Chi from continuing the surgery. Li ultimately escaped disaster. The patient named Barimo Gallo, just not that lucky. He is a truck loader. Due to the nature of the work, there is long-term pain in the back after being referred to Dr. Deng Chi. Out of caution, I have studied Deng Chi's past materials in detail, and after talking with Deng Chi, he believes in Deng Chi. He is an excellent doctor with advanced skills. He decided to let himself go, hand over the surgery to Deng Chi. January 2012. Barry was pushed into the operating room. The surgeon assisting in Deng Chi's surgery is no one else. It is exactly what we mentioned earlier. Dr. Randall Kobe. Dr. Kobe said, the surgery of this patient for a neurosurgeon as simple as a home-cooked meal. However, Deng Chi entered the operating room, pick up a scalpel casually and get to work. Dr. Kobe hurried to stop him upon seeing the situation, and politely suggested that he replace Deng Chi perform surgery, but it was stubbornly rejected by Deng Chi. He said bluntly that he knows what he is doing. Dr. Kobe is helpless and speechless. He then took the initiative to withdraw from the surgery. Post-operative findings: there are bone fragments left in the spinal canal in Paris, causing him abnormal pain. He later had to be taken over by another person. The surgeon is doing it again, surgical repair. But the doctor said he may have to spend the second half of his life in a wheelchair. Jerry Samos is a friend of Deng Chi from his childhood. The relationship between the two people is very good. They often go out together to socialize. Jerry can even use Deng Atwell's strange credit card due to his herniated disc. Please also let Deng Chi perform surgery on him. Deng Chi cut Jerry's vertebral artery during the surgery, caused him to bleed heavily. Deng Chi is still at the bleeding site. A large amount of anticoagulants was used, compressed Jerry's spinal nerve. When Jerry woke up, his arms and legs were numb. It is now completely paralyzed. Currently have to lie in the intensive care unit, provide 24-hour care for 7 days. What is hateful is, Deng Chi has never visited his good friend, not even a word of explanation. Jerry later told the nurse, Deng Chi took medicine the night before the surgery. However, Deng Chi firmly denied it, but Jerry knows his friend's dark history. He feels that the possibility of taking medicine is very high. Jerry's statement raised concerns at the hospital. Management's emphasis: Deng Chi was required to undergo a drug test. However, Deng Chi is already very familiar with this. He successfully passed the test without any surprises. Only stopped for 3 weeks. He has regained his surgical qualifications. What happens next is the video the teacher named Kelly mentioned at the beginning. Martin's medical accident. After the Kelly incident occurred, the hospital management has finally realized they mistakenly hired someone. It looks like a very excellent doctor. They are all the cases handled by Deng Chi, conducted a comprehensive review, and once again continued to him. Point 2 drug tests. Although the test results are fine, however, due to a series of medical accidents finally make the management aware there are significant issues with this person. Deng Chi cannot retain anymore. According to the regulations at that time, if the hospital dismisses Deng Chi, need to report to the U.S. health database operated by the Public Service Department, upload his details. This doctor data the library was established in 1990. Specifically tracking all medical accidents involving doctors and compensation information. There are also undesirable behaviors towards doctors. Or records of illegal activities. For example, being fired, prohibited from enjoying medical insurance, long-term suspension from work. Only look for negative records that have been suspended or revoked. But the database there is a loophole that all doctors know about. This vulnerability is that if the doctor voluntarily resigns, no need to upload the database. It is precisely because of this that before dismissing Deng Chi at the hospital he took the initiative to resign. July 2012. Deng Chi, after leaving the job employed by Dallas Medical Center, the hospital conducted a brief background check on him. The database shows that he is completely innocent. No adverse records. Before formally hiring him, the hospital arranged 3 surgeries for him within a week. The first example is a 63-year-old banker, Florella Brown. During the surgery, Deng Chi punctured the left vertebral artery, causes the patient to die from massive hemorrhage. The second example is 71-year-old Mary Efford. During the surgery, Deng Chi pierced and blocked his vertebral artery and put the screws in the wrong position. This operation caused a stroke in the patient, ultimately led to Mary's paralysis of the lower body. The patient in the third case is very lucky. Due to the consecutive occurrence of the first 2 surgical cases, the entire operating room staff includes nurses. They are doing everything possible to stop Deng Chi from going onto the operating table. The patient ultimately escaped disaster. 2 surgeries, 1 dead and 1 injured. Dallas Medical Center places great importance on. They invited Dr. Robert Henderson perform corrective surgery on Mary. Robert is another important character in the story. He is also a experienced spinal surgeon, having 30 years of medical experience. After examining Mary's injuries, he was surprised to discover Deng Chi's mistake is really too low and petty. This is completely inconsistent with Deng Chi's character. Dr. Robert has serious doubts this person is a fake Li Gui. He is definitely not Deng Chi himself. Dr. Robert immediately adjusted his hairline, reported to the hospital management. The management is aware that Deng Chi's problem is very serious. They did it to consider Deng Chi's feelings, let him leave the hospital quietly. Therefore, these 2 major medical accidents. It was also not uploaded to the National Doctor Database. At the same time Deng Chi's great achievements began to circulate in the Dallas medical community. This is mainly due to the aforementioned Kobe and Robert, 2 doctors. They repeatedly asked to Texas Medical Board complaint against Deng Chi. Although the committee attaches great importance to the complaints, but because of Deng, the mistake made during the surgery was too elementary. The committee has always doubted its authenticity. And under the cumbersome healthcare system in Texas, the handling of this type of complaint case is quite slow. The medical committee spent a whole year's time to investigate. December 2012. Dr. Kobe, in dealing with someone who has done female patient with severe infection after neck surgery and make a diagnostic, discovered his vocal cords and an artery cut off by someone during the surgery. Lead surgeon: it is a person named Christopher Deng. The name strange person is too familiar. He immediately reported this matter to the hospital. Deng Chi's accident finally uploaded to the National Doctors Database. But all of this comes too late. A new victim has emerged. Just 2 months ago, Deng Chi, who was expelled from the Dallas Medical Center employed by the University of Dallas Hospital, This is his third job in medicine within a year and a half. But what Deng Chi did not expect was a man named Jeff Gladwell. It will be him, the last patient in my career. Jeff is an outdoor enthusiast. During a cycling accident, severe injuries to the back and cervical spine. He is in an advertisement. I saw Deng Chi's introduction. Decided to invite him to perform surgery on himself. Jeff is on the way to the hospital. I saw 3 black cats in a row. He, superstitious, felt it was unlucky and wanted to give up the surgery, but under the comfort of his wife he still came to the hospital. However, waited for a full 3 hours. They only saw Deng Chihan drenched in sweat rush into the operating room. He is disheveled, claiming that a car tire is leaking air caused a delay. It seems that Deng Chi was not prepared for the surgery at all. Seeing this situation, Jeff's sense of foreboding arose once again, but he kissed his wife and then walked into the operating room. What Jeff doesn't know is, at this time the Texas Medical Board has taken action against Deng Chi, about to be done. 10 a month investigation. The medical committee believes it is very common for complications to occur in neurosurgery, therefore, no conclusion has been reached for a long time. During the surgery, Deng Chi cut off Jeff's vocal cords. Punctured an artery. A hole was cut in the esophagus. Don't pull the muscles on Jeff's neck afterwards, misunderstood as a tumor, and decided to perform a temporary terminal surgery. Before suturing the wound, he also brought a piece of hemostatic sponge remained inside Jeff. But later inspections confirmed there is really no tumor at all. But at this moment, Jeff was already in extreme pain. His wound is infected, unable to swallow things. The arm also lost sensation. Dr. Kobe, who has repeatedly cleaned up after Deng Chi, once again invited to provide follow-up treatment for Jeff. Kobe thinks this kind of surgery is at an elementary school level. This is undoubtedly murder. He went directly to the Texas Medical Board. Jeff's wife also reported to the police. Jeff was hospitalized for a few months due to this surgery. He lost a vocal cord. Nerve damage in one arm leads to unilateral paralysis. You can only eat a little bit each time. Dr. Kobe is anxious at this moment. He can't just watch helplessly. Deng Chi ruins one patient after another. He drafted a statement and submitted it to the hospital management, and encouraged Jeff's wife to take this incident complaint to the Jew Medical Committee. He said at that time they also contacted major media outlets in Texas. Hope there will no longer be any victims. Finally, in June 2013, Deng Chi has been suspended by the hospital and stripped of his surgical qualifications, to prevent him from going to other hospitals to swindle. December 2013, Permanent Medical Committee revoked his medical license. Deng Chi, who is used to a good life, lost source of income. He owes more than $1 million, can only apply for bankruptcy. At this moment, the girlfriend also left him. He had to come from Texas or move to Colorado living with parents. In 2014, Deng Chi was arrested for drunk driving and was forcibly sent to a drug rehabilitation center. Later, he was arrested again for shoplifting at the supermarket. Now Deng Chi has fallen so low that one has to rely on theft to survive. However, God's punishment for him has not ended. The strange victims have been suffering since 2013. The long road of rights protection and compensation. However, Texas law stipulates evidence of medical malpractice. It must be completed by the patient side, and once the claim is successful, the maximum compensation amount is only $250,000. Providing evidence for patients.it is almost an impossible task. With the help of Drs. Kobe and Robert, they found the district attorney hoped to prosecute Deng Chi for the crime of medical malpractice, but the prosecutor also believes that it is very difficult to provide evidence. The lawsuit has been stagnant until 2015. Under the intervention of a judge, Deng Chi's case has been brought up for discussion again. A number of prosecutors engaged in discussions for several months. They eventually decide to give up on the difficult civil litigation of providing evidence. Change to prosecute Deng Chi under criminal charges. After a long trial of 2 years in 2017, Deng Chi was charged with intentional injury using a deadly weapon. Ham was found guilty by the jury. He was sentenced to life imprisonment by the judge. He has to serve a full 30 years in prison, that is, when he is 74 years old in 2045. Only then is one qualified to be granted bail. Deng Chi is dissatisfied with the verdict. He filed an appeal in 2018. However, the result of the second trial still upheld the original verdict. This case has set an unprecedented precedent. This is America, first time being prosecuted for a criminal offense due to medical malpractice, case sentenced to execution. June 2023, Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed the Departure from Home Act. Grant more powers to the state medical board to protect patients from potential disaster risks, the harm of doctors. According to the survey, currently Texas Chuanjo, at least 49 doctors are still in practice, and their licenses have long been revoked by other states. This is a quite dangerous number. Although Deng Chi received the punishment he deserved, but the extent of his destruction is still astonishing to this day. From May 2011 to June 2013, more than 2 years. He performed surgery on a total of 38 people. 2 people died among them. 32 people were injured to varying degrees. Some of them have caused permanent nerve damage, some paralysis. Some leave behind incurable sequelae. A life cannot take care of itself. They may never be able to pass through the people. The court of history has obtained justice. If you think my video is pretty good, just give a thumbs up and follow next update. Don't get lost. Thank you.